Welcome, jesters. All right, let's talk about this Netflix thing. I know I'm a couple of days late, but let's just weigh in on it real quick. I agree with all of these people canceling their Netflix subscriptions. That is not something that kids should be seeing. I am absolutely not in favor of this. Honestly, it is propaganda appearing in children's cartoons simply because that is not something that anybody other than the parents and maybe the community and the family should be introducing to kids. They don't need to hear messages about being trans or being even gay. I've often said that it's the allies that are the problem, and gay kids, homosexual kids, just need to be left alone. The thing is, whether the kid is gay or not is not going to change. I am squarely on team born this way, and it's not going to matter, how people try to introduce this to them when they're kids. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. If the kid is gay, we are going to grow up and still be gay, and we will rationalize that and deal with it later as we grow up as young adults. And, that's fine. That's how we have survived for, probably centuries, millennia, without, a dedicated, inclusive, safe spaces in elementary schools and other ridiculous things like this. Parents, of course, are free to introduce these topics to their own kids whenever they want. And honestly, it's a little bit crazy of our friends on the left that they can't, well, again, their minds, their brains aren't capable of the nuance required to have rational discussions about this. If you want to take your kids to a birthday party, to Heather's birthday party, who has two mommies, that's fine. No one's saying you shouldn't. And if you want to explain that Heather has two mommies, go right ahead. No one is stopping you from doing this. And yes, that is a reality today, but it is something that the parents can explain to their kids in their own terms at the right time. That's it. We don't need to be introducing these stealth messages in cartoons and in schools. The kids will be fine. So, yeah, if you canceled your Netflix subscription over this, good for you. The kids do not need to hear this. It's as simple as that. And, by the way, the same goes for people with a form of gender dysphoria. If that genuinely exists, like homosexuality, it will still exist later in life, and they can rationalize it later in life as adults and figure out what the best plan for them is. They don't need to be introduced to all sorts of random new sexualities and things like this. There's no reason to confuse kids with things like this. And I'll repeat again, I know this is perhaps a cancelable offense to some people, but as particularly homosexuals, we should learn to operate in normative society growing up. We really should. And we're not hiding from anybody, and we don't necessarily need to be in the closet or whatever. But yeah, it is better for people to just learn how to behave and operate in normative society, and then later on, when you've figured it out and are sure, then, handle it however you want. You come out loud and proud, that's fine. That's totally, totally fine. But kids' cartoons are not a place to introduce these things. Not at all. We all grew up, all of us normal gays, everyone in my friend circle, perfectly normal, did not have all this stuff. We didn't need to be, told that, it's okay and you will be accepted and you will be loved for who you are, blah, blah, blah. No. We grew up watching Looney Tunes. We grew up watching, anthropomorphic animals shoot at each other and drop giant rocks on each other. Yes, some just good old-fashioned cartoon violence. That's all the kids need. They don't need messaging. They don't need propaganda. And here's the thing. It's not that kids can't see this. It's not that kids can't see a cartoon or a representation of gay parents, because it does exist, and they will be exposed to this. Right now, it's propaganda. It is not natural. It is not something that just appears organically. It is propaganda. That is why I object to it. Maybe in 20, 30 years when this whole trans thing is over with and this whole pride thing is over with and it's calmed down back to where it was maybe in the 2000s and there are natural depictions, sure. But right now, I do not trust these people, the people running big media, the people creating these cartoons. I do not trust them to not be trying to propagandize, indoctrinate, and groom these kids. That is why if I had Netflix, I would cancel. I think I get it with my T-Mobile, so I don't really know if I could cancel it. But Yeah. Yeah, if you've canceled Netflix, yeah, good on you. It's not something for cartoons to be introducing to kids. It's something for the parents to be introducing to kids when the parents are ready. And you know I'm right.